So I'm trying to get Jessie to come on out and station on this rather than try and go over my computers and so forth. But he's kind of got himself twisted round backwards there, so you will notice while he's attempting to figure out, and it's about, no, I don't want you to go that way, but I am happy for you to come out on this. But he's not going to, but I'll get a little bit more of him out because he's actually pushing that out of the way on me, and it will certainly topple over with Jessie's body strength. He's going to go up. Okay, I've got him where he's just gone back in. He still really wants to come out, and of course he wants to come out because I need to clean. Well, I want him to come out because I want to clean his enclosure. And now, yeah, but stay going this way, dude. Don't go turning over that way. Because I don't mind if you climb, see, carpets. It's just about going up, and that is not really strong enough for Jessie to go on. Lily is much lighter than Jessie, and Jessie is a heavyweight, so everything that he touches or uses to support himself, he will knock over, it will fall. As much as I would really love a room that is completely available for my snakes to just come on out and be able to make their way, I don't have that availability. So they have to really use whatever it is that I've got, especially Jessie, for support, because Jessie is just one of those snakes that tends to really require that extra support. Lily and even Tessa, like, they just go limp, you know, when I actually touch them. Jessie does not, so much more needing that availability to grip, as you can see, just instantly wraps his head around anything that he can. And I do know, you know, there are lots of snakes like this, that it's not just Jessie. I was beginning to think, you know, did I do something when he was younger? Did I frighten him? You know, what did I actually do that may have created this issue with Jessie? And it's nothing I have done. It is just Jessie. So I'm going to stop him from going behind there because I'll never get him. Well, Jessie wanted to come out, so I, you know, am kind of hoping he will utilise this to bring himself out. I've got to, of course, like I've said with my big snakes, I do have to make it as easy as I possibly can for them, or for me. Not just for them, but for me as well. So this is Jessie's first time actually coming out and, yeah, checking this out. Let's just hope that he's quite happy to do so. He, of course, will be tasting things, although the tongue's not flicking at this particular point. I think he's just thinking. It's all a thinking process right now for Jessie. And that's what they'll do. They'll stop and they will think. Won't you? You just stop and think about everything and what is going on and should I or shouldn't I, but I really don't want you going that way. So please don't go that way. You can go back in if you choose, but you can come back out if you so choose as well. I will hold that just so it doesn't wobble, because we all know that Jessie is one of those particular snakes that doesn't feel secure unless he's totally secure, as he is, and that is just the way he is. And I wanted to touch on, people feel, that a snake eats, and after, several days, they then actually will go to the toilet, and that's their process. And many people get worried when that isn't what their snake does, you could say. They wait and they wait and they wait, and a week later, 2 weeks later, nothing is actually happening, and then they start to worry that there's something going on. Is my snake bound up? Is my snake constipated? Shouldn't my snake be going to the toilet after that amount of time? And it isn't always the way that it is. I can say with my carpets that I see them eat a meal, and 2 weeks later nothing is happening. 3 weeks later nothing is actually happening. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, shouldn't you be going to the bathroom? Now, I guess for me too, I have snakes that are in such a routine of me taking them outside, using the bathroom, and it is almost for me like my snakes will actually hang on and wait for me to take them outside to go to the bathroom. It is what they do. And Jessie, I have seen go 3 weeks, and I take him outside and then he will go to the bathroom. Now Tessa, my Bredley, is a whole different story. She's such a big snake, and in that mind, I want her to come out and I want her to have more exercise, because it helps with her digestion, and she really needs to be able to spread right out. Using the bathroom is something that Tessa just takes a long time. She will have 2 meals, and I don't feed her weekly or fortnightly. She goes 3 weeks one time and up to a month the second time, because I offer her a smaller feed one time and then a bigger feeder the second meal. So I make her go a little bit longer, unless of course she shows me signs that she is really quite hungry. Then I will of course give her something to eat, but generally she will have 2 meals in her belly before she will go to the toilet. And sometimes Jessie is the same. He will have 2 meals in his belly and then go to the toilet. So don't worry if your snake isn't a eat and 5 days later. Your little snakes, the ones that are mobile, that are very active, and do have a lot of space to stretch out and move around in their enclosures, They go all the time. Like, honestly, I'm constantly cleaning up urate and things for them because they do go all of the time, the little ones. But the big snakes I found to just not be on that cycle. And yes, to begin with, especially with Tessa, I was a bit concerned, and I'm, one, to get her out and give her exercise and get her to stretch out, but it isn't enough. It is not enough. And so I'm thinking my best thing to do is to join Tessa and Jessie's enclosure together and creating one big enclosure for Tessa. That is pretty much all I can do, and put Jessie, of course, into a bigger one as well, meaning Tessa's is going to be 8 foot, long and 4 foot high, whereas Jessie's, I would ultimately end up going with the 6 foot long and 2.5 foot high, basically, for him, and he's able to still get off the ground. So that's a work in progress, as doing all these little bits and pieces for my snakes and giving them the freedom to come out and just chill out here. I'm kind of hoping that Jessie will just chill out here and not really want to go too far. But of course that doesn't mean that he won't try and climb up me, or even though he really doesn't like me so much handling him and moving him and doing things for him, he completely likes doing it all for himself. And yes, he can go up, he can climb around. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want him going under anything. Going up is good, go on up. Everything that is up is secure, and won't, as you can see, he's going possibly up a Parney's enclosure. I don't mind. I can keep my eye on him. Big snakes can't get too far and are noisy and knock things, especially Jessie, who will, even for himself, grip things when he's starting to feel insecure, even though he's in total control. So anyway, exercise. This is exercise, and this truly is what your snake needs to get them moving, to get them going to the toilet. It just tends to be how it is with them. So that's why I always say, get your snakes out, let them stretch out, especially those that do not have the ability to actually do it in their enclosure. And even though Jessie, he can spread out probably close to 2/3 of his body, but he can't stretch out all of it. And this also, it is just good for them. In their enclosures, Jessie just tends to thermal regulate and go from one side to the other side. Not so much the exploring and the looking around and checking things out, and that's what they need. They're so curious that they truly want to see new things and explore new things. Like this is a new thing for Jessie. And as you can see, he knows, another snake has been on it, of course, and that's the snake that is in that enclosure. So there you go, guys. Don't worry too much if your snake is not a regular pooper, like the book says. your snake will do what they need to do. Of course, if you notice that it's been quite a while, then I'm talking, don't feed them. I give a couple of meals and then I go, until you poop, you ain't getting another meal. And generally they will end up over that week going to the toilet. So it's about not cramming the food in. A couple of meals, not a problem. But don't just keep jamming the food in if they haven't been to the toilet. That's something that I need to say. So, you take care. I'll talk to you again soon. And, ciao.